Hello and welcome to my channel. The second final boss of integrated strategies is none other than Big Sad Lock. This thing looks like Shamer's doll had gotten a steroid overdose. Big Sad Lock is probably one of, if not the most annoying boss out of all the bosses in integrated strategies, so this guide is here to introduce its entire kit and suggest ways to defeat it. First up, let's look at its stats. Big Sad Lock has high HP, average attack, average defense and a high resistance. Next up are its skills. The lock has 3 active and passive skills. Its first passive skill lets it attack 2 operators at the same time in a global range. The lock will follow the same aggro system as any other ranged enemies where it will attack the last 2 deployed operators. So managing your deployment sequences can be crucial to this boss fight. Its second passive skill lets it regenerate 0.25% of its max HP every second. While 0.25% seems like a small amount on paper, it is actually extremely powerful in the actual fight. Thankfully, this can be cancelled if you have the blank suicide note collectible. I've explained the steps required to obtain it in another video, so do check it out. I'll link it at the end of this video. Lastly, we have its third passive skill. The lock will continuously spawn enemies into the stage as long as it's still alive. These enemies will deduct life points upon entering the blue box. Moving on to its active skills, its first skill generates a shield which absorbs physical and arts damage equal to 15% of its max HP. When it is present, it will stop attacking, spawn more enemies into the stage and doubles the movement speed of all the enemies in the stage. A really troublesome skill to deal with as it synergizes with the regenerative skill. The increased movement speed of the other enemies can easily cause leaks to occur, so do watch out for this skill. It has a cooldown of 45 seconds. Next up is his second active skill. When the lock receives 20 hits, it will unleash a wave of arts damage, dealing 150% of its attack to all operators in the stage. High hit count operators like Exia and Ash are therefore not recommended as they will trigger this skill much more frequently. Lastly, we have its last active skill. If the lock hasn't been defeated after 8 minutes, it will self-destruct, dealing 30 life points, and in most scenarios, this can instantly end your run. With the boss's high HP and regenerative skill, the time limit can be extremely daunting, so having enough DPS to finish it off within 8 minutes is extremely important. The Big Sad Lock will spawn in ISWDF, need no more. The boss itself will spawn here and will not move from this position for the entire fight. The other enemies will appear through the red boxes. Some of the notable enemies spawning into the stage are Theater Golems, Grey Tail Leader, Enraged Tombkeeper Grotesque and Mudrock Zealot Leader. They will spawn at different time intervals, so dragging out this boss fight is a very bad idea. Now, it's time to recommend some operators that perform well in this stage. For the boss killers, we have Chalter, Calcit and Surtur. Calcit's skill 3 deals true damage, thus ignoring the boss's defense and arts shield. Chalter can be great in dealing damage to both the boss and enemies walking into her range, and Surtur's big arts damage can be a nice addition despite the boss having high resistance. For healing, AoE medics like Talopsis or Nightingale are advised as the boss attacks 2 operators at once. Healing defenders like Saria can also help keep your operators alive. Next is support. As this boss has a rather high HP, having supporters can make the fight significantly easier. Scatty Altar is great for healing and buffing, Shamare for the massive defense and attack debuff, and Saria's skill 3 to increase the damage output for arts damage dealers. Lastly, we have the lane holders. Mudrock is a popular choice when it comes to holding the left or right side of the stage. Calcit on skill 2 can also get the job done, and of course, we have everyone's favorite Thorny Boy. And that is all for this boss guide. Hope this video is helpful in introducing the Big Sad Lock boss. I will be making similar videos in the future, so do consider subscribing to stay tuned. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.